If you feel like nobody ever really showed you the best way to use your flat iron or straightener, then stay tuned because today I'm going to show you some do's and don'ts of the flat ironing world. By the way, I'm Ashley Elizabeth with AEHM Artistry, and if you haven't yet, please go down and subscribe. And if you like what you see, give a little thumbs up. If you would like to see anything in particular, please leave a comment below because this video specifically was requested by somebody who had some questions about flat irons that she never could solve. So stay tuned, let's get started. Our first don't is don't act all high and mighty like your hair doesn't need any product to help prime and set the style, because guess what? It's a do. You need to make sure you find products that cater to your hair, and that's going to give a longer lasting smoothing result, and preferably something with some extra heat protection as well. Another don't is don't go grabbing some random flat iron and hope for the best. You want to make sure to avoid metal plates and anything that snags your hair. Our do is research. Find the best flat iron that fits your budget. So pick a budget and find the best possible one within that range. Find something with floating plates, maybe ceramic, titanium. All of those things are going to be helping in the longevity of your hair and give a smoother result as well. Now, a major don't is don't crank up your flat iron as high as it will go and think that you have to do it like that. Not all people need that high of a temperature. What you do want to do is test out your flat iron on a lower setting and see how you can get your results on a lower setting. Some people may have to crank it all the way up, I understand that, but most people don't. So keep playing with it, keep slowly raising the temperature until you find a result that is smooth. And then you can set it and forget it. What you do want to do is you want to make sure you keep your plates nice and clean. What you don't want to do is let it build up with this gunk of hairspray and all that weird stuff. If it ever does, just grab some rubbing alcohol and a tissue and you just rub it right on either the plates or the sides. The reason why you want to keep this clean is it helps your flat iron not to kind of stutter as it's going down the hair shaft. It's going to help for a more smooth result, and it's also more hygienic. So obviously make sure that your flat iron is turned off and cool before doing this, but once you've gotten all the gunk off, just let it dry. See? Good as new. And another don't is you don't want to take your flat iron and just pull at random sections of your hair trying to straighten it, because you're going to be looking a hot mess. It's going to come out super uneven and it's not going to be the look that you want. Nope. What you do want to do is work in sections. So grab some clips and start from the bottom, and I do that into horizontal sections. I split it in half and then I bring it all to the front. Now I have fine hair, but I have a decent amount of it, so I do about 3 to 4 of these horizontal sections total. I know if you have thick hair, you might have to do more, thin hair less. Another don't is don't forget to use a nice heat protecting spray. It will save the integrity of your hair and you won't get split ends as fast. So what you do want to do is grab a heat protecting spray that you like. They come in either pumps or in aerosols. And what you do want to do is lightly mist each section and take a comb through it. That way you get even distribution. What you don't want to do is spray it all over like a bat out of hell and think that you got even coverage, because you didn't. Now here's a major do and a pro tip at that. You want to make sure that you grab a heat-proof comb and place that directly in front of the flat iron as you're passing through the hair, because it's going to help your hair to glide through the flat iron a lot more seamlessly and smoothly. And overall, you're going to be using the flat iron passing through that hair a lot less. And it's going to be creating a smoother, shinier, sleeker result. What you don't want to do is forget that comb and don't use it, because you're not going to be able to get that smooth, seamless result as easy. You're going to be having to put your flat iron through your hair a lot more to get that smoothness. You can see here in the two side-by-sides, the one with the comb is a lot smoother. The one without, look at those roots. They're a lot more wavy. So I couldn't get it as straight as I did with the comb. So here's a quick little run through of me finishing up my hair routine just so you guys can see it, but keep watching because I still have a couple more do's and don'ts and some pro tips, and also some nice little question and answers I've been given from some of my fellow subscribers. So when you get to the top, you can either continue to straighten, but here's a little bonus tip for fine-haired gals or people that like extra volume. Grab yourself a set of Velcro rollers, and about 3 is good depending on how much volume you want, how thick your hair is, and I section off into 3 sections. What you want to do is you want it to be about the same length of the roller and the same width of the roller. So you can see right here the measurement. And then you take the flat iron and you're basically just heating up your hair. So this is in place of using actual hot rollers. So this saves you some money in the long run because you're not having to buy a whole nother set of a tool. You can actually just use what you already have. Just buy some flat rollers, or excuse me, Velcro rollers for $3 to $5 and roll it into your hair. And then I just pin it back. So I do 3 little sections, and I'm still making sure I use my heat protecting spray even before that. And I split it off. Now I hairspray that and let it set, and anywhere from 5 minutes, sometimes up to 45 minutes if I do my hair before my makeup, and then I can drop it down and kind of manipulate it into what kind of volume I want, place the hair and lay it down to where I like it, and then we are almost good to go. Back to the do's and don'ts. What you don't want to do is forget to check your work because you might be going out to town and looking a hot mess. What you do want to do is grab a mirror and check the back because we're all human and we're all in a rush and we all make mistakes. If you ever find a piece that needs extra flat ironing, just grab your flat iron and correct it. What you do want to do is make sure you finish off your style with either hairspray or even a very, very light humidity protecting spray, because how many of us have left the house thinking that we look fine only to check an hour later and we look frizzy. Another do is do remember that you can use your flat iron for other things other than just stick straight hair. You can change the direction of where you're using the flat iron to either create volume or channel some Farrah Fawcett waves. You can even use it to, yes, create ribbon curls. This shouldn't be news to anybody, I know, but if you're having trouble with creating your beachy waves or ribbon curls, let me know and I can always do a video on that. But it is actually as easy as it looks. It just takes some practice. Now, if you ever have the problem where the straightener is kind of like kinking along your hair as you go and like, you know, staggering, then there's a couple solutions for that one. The number one thing is people pressing down too hard. You never need to take your flat iron and squish it down because some flat irons will make it stuck and crinkle. So you just want to do not too light, obviously, because that doesn't do anything, but just about a medium hold and just let it graze down, not pressing too hard. And is you want to make sure that your hair is very clean and no shampoo or conditioner residues left over. And then you definitely want to use some sealing products on damp hair, like your oils or your serums, but don't go heavy-handed. A little bit goes a long way with those products, but they really help to lay down the cuticle and make it for a smoother seal on the flat ironed hair once you're ready to do that on dry hair. And then another reason would be that your flat iron may be having some gunk on it, so you need to use that alcohol, a little swab to clean it off. One other thing for that solution is making sure that you use the kind of springy type of flat irons. Ones that are stagnant and don't move, I find 100% of the time will kink as I go down, and sometimes they even grip and snag in the slots. So testing out flat irons and finding one that will give that little bouncy effect really help with the kinking. Now my favorite is absolutely hands down the GHDs. I was a little bit skeptical at the beginning. I used it and it felt like, to be honest, it was a little too hot for my hair, because the thing about the GHD is it only has an on and off switch. However, I went back to my high, which is also a good one, but it is better, I find, now for fine hair because it maintains a little bit of volume. When I went back to the GHD again, like a couple days later, I was like, oh my goodness, this is such a breeze. It's so smooth. I just love it. So my high is a great alternative. It is only, usually you can find it around $100 or something. Sometimes it goes up to $150. I don't know what the fluctuation is about, but it's a more affordable salon quality flat iron. But I do find different hair types that I've used, it always ends up being best for the fine-haired gals. GHD ones tend to be great for anyone from normal texture all the way up to super coarse, thick, curly hair. I've used this sucker on, and it gives incredible shine and smoothness, and you get long-lasting results with that. If you ever find that your hair is looking a little bit sad and scary on your ends, a little trick that I have is the Schwarzkopf Sealed Ends product. You can use this on damp hair, that's what it's meant for, but actually after I'm done flat ironing and styling my hair, I like to take a little squeeze of it, rub it in between my fingers, like a little tiny bit. You don't want to make your hair oily or anything. And then you can just rub it along the the edges, and it'll dry down and it'll be smoother, and it'll kind of hide any kind of split ends if you're pushing off seeing your stylist. And I also like to take a little bit of it if I'm getting any kind of flyaways up top, and then lightly kind of graze it. And it helps to lay everything down without getting too gunky. And then style like normal. So that's a little bit of the do's and don'ts. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anything. If you have any questions about your flat iron, don't forget to comment down below and I will answer them to the best of my ability. At the very least, please take home at least 2 of these rules. Rule number 1 of the most important one is using a heat protection spray. This will save the integrity of your hair, at least better than without using one. And number 2, for the smoothest results, use that comb before your flat iron. I know it will take some getting used to and some manipulation of where your hands will go, but in the end, it will be a much smoother result. So if you take anything away, at least take those 2 things. So thank you guys so much for watching today. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet before you leave. I muchly appreciate it. Anyways, you guys have a lovely day.